Well, good morning, Carlsbad.
Good morning.
Pleasure to see you all here today. And happy Father's Day to the fathers. And mothers who are fathers and all of us who serve in that role. My topic today is stay the course. The last time I spoke with you, we talked about living the science of mind. We talked about all those principles and practices that we use every day to journey on our way. Today, I want to talk about what we do if we get off course. So my topic is stay the course. And I begin with this story. Two frogs fell in a can of cream, or so I've heard it told. The sides of the can were shiny and steep. The cream was deep and cold. Oh, what's the use? The first frog croaked. There's no help around. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye, cruel world. And weeping still, he drowned. The second frog dog-paddled in surprise. All the while, he wiped his creamy face and dried his creamy eyes. I'll swim a while at least, he said. It really wouldn't help the world if one more frog were dead. An hour or two, he kicked and swam. Not once he stopped to mutter. Then he kicked and swam and kicked. Then hopped out via butter.
I like that.
Died because he stayed the course. What course are we talking about? The spiritual course. Your life, your journey here. Today we're going to take a look at persistence and determination to help us navigate ourselves through life. As we pursue our dreams and aspirations, sometimes we fall into that can of cream. And even though we may be occasionally thrown a curve or fall into a can of cream, it doesn't mean we should give up our vision, give up our dream, because our vision is God's vision for us as well. Ernest Holmes, our founder, believed that also. This is what he said. Anything that will enable us to express greater life, greater happiness, greater power, so long as it does not harm anyone, is the will of God for us. So whatever it is that's lurking in the back of your mind, whatever it is that you want for yourself that doesn't hurt or put anybody else in jeopardy, God says, hip hooray. Taking that trip toward our dreams is not always a straight line going upwards. Spiritual dynamics tells us that life continually spirals upward, but each new level has its challenges, its ups and downs, its cans of cream. So sometimes we feel that our lights burn very brightly and we're right on track. And sometimes our light feels like a 25-watt bulb on its way out and we feel off course. And when we feel like that 25-watt bulb on its way out, it's important to do what we need to do to get back on course. What it takes us to move forward. It's important that we swim and kick and swim and keep going. As an old football coach used to tell his team, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. The question often is, which way do we go? We take the spiritual path, of course, that course of light. And I recall the story of Samson and Delilah in the biblical scripture. It's a powerful example of what happens when we get lured off course. Now, most of us know this story. A man's named Samson was blessed with incredible strength. The Israelites depended on him to defend them against the oppressive Philistines. But Samson allowed himself to be lured off course. He was tempted and he succumbed. What did Samson do? He flirted with a woman in the enemy camp named Delilah. She asked him, Samson, how do you get all that strength? And he toyed with her, he played with her. First he told her if tied with 7 fresh bowstrings, he would weaken. So she did that, but he broke them. Then he said, bind me securely with new ropes that have never been used. Then I shall become weak. Of course, that didn't work either. Then he said, weave 7 locks of my hair into the web of the loom. Then I shall become weak. She did this, and he was as strong as ever. Now, you would think by now that Samson would get it. This woman is bad news. But how often do we ignore those signals that come our way that says, wrong move, wrong turn, and how often do we just keep on going, ignore the static? Finally, she pressed him daily until he blurted out, if I'm shaven, then my strength will leave me and I shall become weak like any other man. Delilah wasted no time in getting the news to the Philistines. Then she lulled Samson to her lap and called the Philistines to shave his head. They blinded him. Once his hair was gone, he weakened, and they blinded him and put him in prison, where he was harnessed to a millstone to grind wheat. Isn't that a powerful analogy for us? For one reason or another, we get off course. If you allow yourselves to succumb to the Delilahs in your life, you may find yourself at the millstone, grinding away, going round and round in circles, going nowhere. Whatever your millstone is, but we lose sight of our vision. Now, our Delilahs don't come waving banners saying, I'm your destruction. Here, I'm here to destroy you. They may come looking good like Delilah. Delilah was gorgeous. Sometimes those things that may seem like they are good for us simply lure us off track and we lose our vision. So, what is your Delilah? Ask you this morning. Give it some thought. What gets you off track? What gets you off your game when you're not playing your best card? Is it thinking lack and limitation rather than remembering God is your supply? Is it reacting to circumstances rather than remembering the truth? Remembering that at the absolute, all is well and all will be well. Is it fear when there's nothing to fear? Seeing and feeling ill health, negativity, or not doing our spiritual practice? All these things tear down, not build up. So there was Samson, blinded and had lost his vision. he disconnected from his truth, his light, and if that happens to us, we begin to lose our way. So the Philistines, well, before I get back to the Philistine, while Samson was grinding away at the mill, something happened. His hair grew back, and his strength returned. But the Philistines were feeling pretty triumphant, ordered him brought to the temple so they could mock him. And they put Samson in between these two pillows, and they said, "Now show your strength." Samson went into his truth, and he said, "Oh God, remember me." His strength returned, and you all know the story. He pushed down the pillows, and in the final moments, he killed all the Philistines, and giving the ultimate sacrifice, he fulfilled his destiny. You see, we always get a second chance to get back on track. At any moment, we can reconnect to our course and turn our attention back to our vision. How? Ernest Holmes tells us in Science of Mind that if our eye is single, we shall be filled with light. We must cleave to the good and trust absolutely in the law of God to bring about our desired end. Spirit will mold our purpose when we allow it to do so. So here's something I invite you to set a single eye on. You are made in the image and likeness of God, and God's plan for you is good and only good. So I want you to say that with me. I am made in the image and likeness of God, and all is good. Now I want you to turn to a neighbor and say, you are made in the image and likeness of God, and all is good. All is good. All is well in God's kingdom. Keep that vision in your mind's eye and put into practices the principles and practices that are taught here at this center. Pray affirmatively, knowing that God's gonna come through for you. When you think you've lost your way, ask for direction and then sit in the silence and wait for an answer. My mom used to say, ask and wait. Wait on it. Listening for that still small voice that will show the way. Know that God in you, as you, always knows the way home. Know that you are directed and guided. And if you believe in this dream, in this vision, God will get you to where you want to go. He will get you to where you need to be. As a little girl, and some of the tools we use, of course, is set that vision. Daydream. Visualize, and once you get the dream, then you got to keep it going. Visualize and practice. I remember as well, I shouldn't say a little girl, so it was a high schooler. I wanted to be a majorette. Now they had batonets, we had the majorettes led the band. They were out front doing their number. And then came the band, and then they had the batonets that marched behind the band, and there were 20 of those. I wanted to lead the band, so I went out. I tried out for the first team, majorette. But at that time, in my high school, nobody that looked like me led the band or had ever led the band in the history of the school. So why would I have that dream? But there I was out there trying. First year I didn't get it. But guess what I did? I went to the music store in town. I bought myself a baton, and I strutted everywhere I went. Was I living my dream? In my dining room, in front of my mother's china closet, which she prized. You could only put the good dishes in there. There I was with my majorette in the house, boom, going. I won't tell you that I didn't break a window. What I will tell you is that I became a majorette, first African-American majorette in the history of that school, and what a pleasure it was for me to have my mommy and daddy in town while the band led while the band orchestra, the majorettes, led the band through the center of the town. And on the football field, what a pleasure it was to step up to that goal post, flip that baton and catch it. So what I'm saying to you today, that God in you, as you, can take you all the way. So take some time and envision what it is that you want for your life. And by now, I know that everybody in here already has a plan. And I believe that that plan is in motion. I know it is for you. What I'm saying is, know that you are divine, that you are all the things God is, and just spend that time in the silence. Use those positive affirmations. And remember this prayer of faith by Hannah Kohlhaas. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God walks with me, guides my way through every moment of the day. I now am wise. I now am true, patient, kind, and loving too. All things I am, can do, and be through the light of God that is in me. God is my health. I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my all. I know no fear, since God and love and light are here. So you have a choice. When the Delilahs show up in your life and you fall into a can of cream, you can drown like the first frog, or you can kick and swim with this truth. The choice is yours. Namaste.
Thank you for that, Reverend Maddie. Armand, as I call you. Boy, that's one of my favorite stories, Samson, boy. I was looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger, man, that guy had some Samson muscles. That guy, his documentary was amazing. Anyway.